Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Before we get into this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you're notified when I post new videos. So part 3 and part 4 of the MJ documentary aired last night, and I know you guys were just as excited as I was. I have to say, part 3 and part 4 was even more entertaining than part 1 and part 2, if that's even possible. So here are my main takeaways from part 3 and part 4 of the documentary. Number 1, it was so nice to see a whole segment on Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was such an important piece of the team and super underrated. He was just misunderstood, and it was great to see Phil Jackson, MJ, and the team just be accepting of who he was, like the Las Vegas story. Think about it, how many players can get away with going to Las Vegas for 48 hours, although it was way more than 48 hours, Dennis, and then just being fine, coming back to the team and being in tip-top shape and just having everybody understand that you needed to do that. That's something I really respect about MJ, Phil Jackson, and the team. They were just very understanding of everybody and what they needed to do to perform, and they didn't give anybody a hard time for having to handle their situations in their own personal way. That's probably one of the reasons why they're so great, because everyone knew that everybody on the team had different needs and nobody was judgmental on what someone needed to do to get themselves ready for a game. I've actually never heard the Las Vegas story, so that was actually my first time hearing that, and wow, that was hilarious. It was just so funny to see because it just seems like a Dennis Rodman thing to do. He just hopped on the plane right after they said he could. Probably wasn't funny in the moment, of course, because Dennis was going through his things. I'm not saying it was funny in the moment. It's just a funny memory to look back on. And all the clips of him with Carmen Electra in Las Vegas, and I was wondering, I was like, did they tell the camera crew to follow him to Las Vegas? Which I guess they did. And now back to Dennis Rodman as a player was so underrated. You could see in his documentary his IQ. You saw the clip where they kept doing a loop over of him saying, I know this angle goes this way and this angle goes that way and this and that and how to guard each player this way. That shows incredible basketball IQ. He really took the time to study the angle, study the game to make sure that he put himself in the best position to get every rebound he possibly could. And it translated to the game very well because he led the league in rebounds 7 times. And he didn't just lead the league in rebounds by averaging like 9 rebounds a game. He was averaging 15, 16, 17 rebounds a game. So I was just really happy to see Dennis Rodman. I'm glad he's in a better place now, and I hope that he gets the praise he deserves. Again, I don't know why the report came out that MJ thinks that people aren't gonna like him after this documentary. Again, like I said, we have to watch the whole thing, but he seemed incredibly likable again. Just like the Phil Jackson thing and Dennis Rodman thing, as I mentioned earlier, that takes a lot of respect. You know the stigma that MJ does not care about anybody else, that he's hard-nosed, emotionless, win at all costs, but he's incredibly compassionate throughout these first 4 parts of the series. I think people forget that celebrities, basketball players, and just people who have some kind of fame in general are real people. And a lot of people tend to watch NBA games or watch celebrities in movies or whatever and tend to think that they know the person when they really don't. I think we're learning a lot about Michael Jordan that we never knew and never would have known unless this documentary came out. I really think it's great to see that side of Michael Jordan. Now let's talk about the Bad Boys. The Bad Boys played it rough. I knew stories and I've already seen rough clips of how the Bad Boys play, but just seeing them in the documentary and seeing all those clips, I'm like, that's a flagrant 2, that's a flagrant 2, that's an ejection, that's a suspension. They really took physicality to the next level. I mean, hey, it worked to some degree. They got 2 championships out of it. The whole not shaking hands at the end of the game, of course, is a big storyline in the documentary. You can still see the tension between MJ and Isaiah. I also thought one thing that was very interesting was them not allowing the Pistons to get in their head. For example, the foul on Scottie, which he could have been seriously injured on, he didn't react at all. He just got up. And that's what they needed to do to not feed into it and lose the game. Do you know how incredibly hard it must have been for Scottie to not react to that kind of foul? I just think it's crazy how they went from losing to the Pistons to a sweep. They really put in the time and put in the work that summer. Also, let's give a little shout out to Phil Jackson, the Zen Master. My takeaway about Phil Jackson is that he's underappreciated as well. I didn't know that Phil Jackson had such a connection to Indian tribes, but now it makes sense why he's the Zen Master. You could really see his love for the team and just understanding his players. He really understood and took Dennis Rodman under his wing. Dennis Rodman was known as a basket case. I mean, how many coaches would have been patient with him? I know Chuck Daly was another one who was very patient with him, but we're talking about the Bulls here for a second. In general, the team just felt like not just a team. They felt like a family. I don't know if they felt like that actually as a team, but I'm just saying that's what it looked like through this documentary. You could tell a difference between a team that plays together and likes each other and a team that really bonds and understands each other. Like I said last time, they could have won 2 more championships and we'll never know. So those are my opinions and takeaways on part 3 and part 4 of the documentary. Let me know your thoughts on the documentary so far, and let me know what you want me to talk about next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time. Bye!